And behold, two of them were going to that very day to a village named Emmaus, which was about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they were conversing with each other about all these things which had taken place. And it came about that while they were conversing and discussing, Jesus himself approached and began traveling with them. When Father Sebastiano D'Ambra, PIME, started the Silsilah Dialogue Movement in 1984 in Zamboanga City, one of his concerns was to build dialogue and peace on a spiritual foundation. That initial understanding of the vision and mission of Silsilah to live and promote the spirituality of life in dialogue with God, with self, with others, and creation became the starting point of the many reflections on the culture of dialogue founded on the moving inspiration of God's love for humanity.
Silsilah is part of my life. In the Filipino country, it's my second country because I've been here since '77. It happened that in my first mission I was in Siocon, Zamboanga del Norte, and I started to be close to the people, Muslim, Christians, Subanon. And after I learned the suffering of the people, many adventure, to the point that after a few years, with some friends, I started the Silsilah Dialogue Movement, Muslim Christian together, because since the beginning, I try to tell to all Muslim and Christian that the movement it's a movement for all, Muslim, Christian and people of other faith, and each one of us, according to our religion, has to deepen and to live fully this mission. So it happened that along the way, some Christian ladies, I encouraged them to reflect, to dedicate their life in full. Of course, the first one is Minda Sanyo, who is now our president in Silsilah. We have also Carmen Grau and Melin Buscas. So these three girls, full of energy, teachers, willing to dedicate their life, they start this community, Emmaus Dialogue Community.
Aminda Sanyo, one of the first members of Silsilah and a member since 1984, in her own search for more, expressed to Father D'Ambra her desire to consecrate her life to this mission. She was then a young Catholic teacher with a firm background and experience as a catechist. She was encouraged to envision a special vocation for the movement as a Catholic.
The story of my vocation started when I understand I was called by God to do a service for humanity. And after some time of my experience in the movement, the Silsilah movement, experiencing how to live life in dialogue with God, self, others, and creation. So for a quite number of years, I was reflecting and trying to integrate this attitude of dialogue in my life as a Christian. And then I understand that I am being called to a certain vocation, a specific mission in life. And that specific mission in life, I considered it as a way of serving God and humanity in a community life. And so I started to express myself to Father Sebastiano that I am interested to have an experience of living this spirituality of the movement in community life.
In the stage of prayer and reflection, Aminda Sanyo, commonly called Minda, found Carmen Grajo and Hermelina Buscas, two young teachers like her and also members of Silsilah. They were willing to start a community with Minda.
And so I invited other members, other friends, Ameline and Carmen to join me to start a community. And this community is called Emmaus Dialogue Community.
Together, they decided to live in Santa Catalina, a poor area in one of the barangays of Zamboanga City. The initial choice was to be a silent presence among the Christians and Muslims of the place, living the spirit of Silsilah as Christians and consecrating their lives to the Lord as lay women. Together with Father D'Ambra, they prayed and deepened their understanding of the example of Jesus and focused their attention on the incident on the road to Emmaus, as it is presented in the Gospel of Luke. For them, the Emmaus experience of the two disciples was a moving story that expressed well their own sense of mission and vocation. Thus, they decided to call the community Emmaus Dialogue Community.
So that time, we were together with Minda. So we have been together going from different communities, trying to introduce the charism of Silsilah. So Father Seb always informed me, Carmen, you have a mission. So at that time, Minda told the story, my story to Father Seb, and Father Seb asked me, Carmen, do you want to join Minda in a community? So I said, yes, Father. I don't know why I was able to answer it right away. So after that, I don't know what to do, but I told Father that maybe it is really God's will that really I was able to answer that way. So we started staying together in a community wherein si Minda, myself, and Melin. So three of us.
I am Ermelina Buscas. They call me Melin for short. Before I became a member, I was then a tertiary, Carmelite tertiary, wherein we met Father Sebastiano together with Meng. Actually, it's Meng who invited me to attend some meetings of the Silsilah Dialogue Movement. First, we were members of the Silsilah Dialogue Movement. Through the invitation of Meng, parang I was also searching, no? As I always said, God always has His ways in getting or in trying to call people. And I may say, God called me in this way wherein I was invited by Meng, and then through Meng, I was able to understand what God is trying to ask of me. That is to live in a community wherein prayer is the priority.
The late Archbishop of Zamboanga, Monsignor Francisco Cruces, understood the need for, supported, and blessed the beginning of a new lay community in Zamboanga. On February 8, 1987, he celebrated the first Mass in the community with the members, Father D'Ambra, a few friends and relatives of the three pioneers of this new community. This was the beginning of the Emmaus Dialogue Community 25 years ago.
You know, this is a community of lay people, Catholics, so we have to be recognized by the church. And I was happy when we started the time the Archbishop Cruces was the Archbishop of Zamboanga. He really appreciated, he came to celebrate with us in Santa Catalina, a poor area where the community started, Muslim Christian together, and we started. That was in 1987. 1987, after 3 years that we started the Silsilah Dialogue Movement. Of course, at that time, we tried to identify how it's our presence visible in the church, at the same time in the Silsilah Dialogue Movement. So we decided to reflect, to come up with a proper vision, mission. And one of the focus that since the beginning I emphasized, and it was carried even now, the rule of this community of lay people has to find the inspiration in the Beatitude, because I believe that Beatitude is like a Magna Carta of the Christians, and so that could be an inspiration how to live fully in holiness. And we need to help the lay people to enter in this spirit of Christian life, and with the special mission to proclaim or to invite people for dialogue and peace. So we are happy that in this moment already the idea is already spread. The diocese is very open to make this Emmaus community really alive in the diocese. In fact, we have program of collaboration with the diocese, but in the same time, in the Silsilah Dialogue Movement, it is a new experience where we have to show to the people that dialogue, peace come from a spiritual approach. So it's not only a strategy, but it is something that comes from the heart. For us, dialogue, it's an expression of love. I see that the Lord is working in a mysterious way. In this mysterious way also we experience as a Silsilah and also as a Emmaus community the death of Father Salvatore Carceda. He was killed in Zamboanga in his commitment for dialogue in 1992. In that moment we were really shaken in our effort, but it was a great strength for us, and especially for the Emmaus Dialogue community. In fact, we remember him every day in our prayer.
There were also times like, for example, the death of Father Salvatore, who is very supportive and inspired the community. When he died, that also one of the moments when we were in pain. And in pain because a loss of a friend, but a joy also to know that a man like Father Salvatore offered his life for dialogue and peace, for a mission and for a cause. That alone inspired me so much to continue and to deepen more and to be more dedicated in this mission.